Thanks for watching Truthitude. It is time for Tales from the Hood, a SunnySlope Christmas. First off, I think I might be losing a little bit of my street cred because of this Santa hat, but I don't care because it's Christmas and I freaking love Christmas. So I thought since Christmas is like 2 days away that it would be super fun to tell you a little bit about the memories that stand out in my mind from my days in the hood. Many of you don't know that about the first 10 to 11 years of my childhood, I grew up in a really sketchball area part of Phoenix, Arizona called SunnySlope. If you are familiar with it, then I'm sorry and I hope you got out. And I'm thankful I did. But there are just a few memories that, you know, I kind of stand out in my mind from growing up in the hood during Christmas. So the first memory I have was when I was in kindergarten, and so I was like 6, I think this was like 1992, and my mom at the time, so my mom's was a severe drug addict, and there were years that she was better than others. So this Christmas she was kind of straight, and my stepdad's parents sent a whole bunch of presents, and me and my 2 brothers at the time thought we would get up super early and be sneaky and just start with like the little presents and unwrap them, and then we like tried to wrap them back together and it was not successful. But before we knew it, we actually unwrapped all of our presents. And my mom woke up and she was so pissed, and she beat our asses that day. And she wanted to get pictures of us with all of our gifts, but she was so mad that she didn't give us time to like get breakfast or get dressed. And so we all had to take pictures of our Christmas presents just wearing like our chones and our pajamas. And we look like, you know, we're all sad because we just got our butts whooped. So that stood out as kind of a crazy memory. The second memory that stands out for me on Christmas in the hood was the next year when I was in 1st grade, so it was like 1993. Santa did not come to our house that year because we were really poor. And we actually did not have a Christmas tree. We had an aloe vera plant that sat on like a bookshelf, kind of like this. And we kind of made it like our ghetto Christmas tree or Charlie Brown Christmas tree. So because Santa didn't come to our house that year, we actually went and waited in line all morning long at a place where they were doing Santa Cops. And we waited in line forever. I remember, I mean, I was a little kid, so it probably seemed like forever. But anyways, waited in line and got home, opened up my presents, and I got a My Little Pony and Barbies. And I was a Barbie freak when I was a kid. And I threw up all over my presents. So that's pretty memorable. The third Christmas that really stands out in my mind from when I grew up in the hood was when I was in 2nd grade, so what is that, 1994. Again, Santa did not come to our house that year. My mom was not as clean. So my grandparents sent us a bunch of clothes, which, you know, as a kid is super exciting. But I found a picture I wanted to share of my brothers and I wearing our Christmas gear in Arizona. We're doing our Power Ranger poses because that's what was popular at the time. But we actually, because Santa didn't come that year, we went to this church that we went to. And we stood in this really long line forever. And I think it was like Toys for Tots or maybe Salvation Army was doing something. But we got bikes. We actually got like Huffy bikes. So I don't know if y'all remember Huffy bikes, but they were like the shit back in the day. So another reason that this Christmas was particularly special was because this was the only Christmas that we had with my little brother Anthony. I'll show you a picture of him he was wearing his little Santa suit. And the reason that that was the only Christmas we had with Anthony that year was because he passed away that following March. And we lost him. He got spinal meningitis. He was 8 months old and we lost him. So we don't have very many pictures of Anthony, so it's really special that we have that. Sorry, but I mean, gosh, that was 24 years ago and I'd still like remember it. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but one thing that stands out in my mind is that growing up in the hood and like just going through the stuff that we went through, I don't ever remember believing in Santa. And I think it's because some years Santa didn't come at all. And I think other years it was because we went and picked up our presents, like when we were living in the shelter. And so when we were living in the shelter, of course, like Santa didn't come, and sometimes we would go and pick up our gifts for like Santa Cops or Toys for Tots. And that's one of the reasons that these programs are so dear to my heart. Santa Cops, Toys for Tots, the programs that you can like adopt foster kids and buy them gifts, or you know, just the different toy drives that they have, because I was that kid. I was that kid that if it weren't for these programs, like I wouldn't have had a Christmas many of those years. And so I'm really thankful to the people who give so generously of their hearts this time of year to those programs, because I know what it felt like to be a little kid and like not have Christmas come. Sorry. And so like my friend Heidi this year, she gathered all her friends and they donated all this money, and she was able to provide like a huge group of kids Christmas, and like a major Christmas. These kids made out like bandits, you know? And then my beautiful friend Tasha back in Colorado, she runs this program, Joyful Journeys. You should definitely check it out. She hustles for these kids all year round, but especially on Christmas time, she makes magic for these kids and for these families. So these programs are really dear to my heart, because growing up in poverty, like I wouldn't have had a Christmas had these programs not existed. And so this year I was very blessed to have the opportunity to adopt a little foster girl for Christmas, and I went a little nuts, but I hope she has the merriest Christmas. So when I moved out of the hood and moved in with my grandparents, Christmas became something totally different. My grandpa loves Christmas, and I think that's where I get it from. There's a saying in our family that I'm my grandpa's daughter, because we both just love Christmas. And he made it super special for my baby brother Brennan at the time, because he was an infant and he had never experienced Christmas and got to believe in Santa. And it was just really special to see him get to believe in Santa, and we didn't ever have that. But he always made this huge meal, and we had a lot of family around and my cousins and all of it. So it was just a different experience from coming from the hood, where we never had Santa and we never had gifts, to my grandpa, where he just made such a big deal out of it. So one Christmas that stands out from living with my grandparents is the year that I think I was like 17, and my grandpa got me a keyboard. And if you know me, music is my life, and I learned, you know, I was able to teach myself how to play because my grandpa got me this keyboard this year. And I found a couple of pictures that I wanted to share. That was the same year that my poor brother also got chicken pox. So I don't know if you can see, poor thing. He got chicken pox. And then my little brother Brennan, it was so special. He got this giant freaking stocking. I don't know if you can see how giant that is, but I thought that was pretty amazing. And then I also found this gem. Kind of embarrassing, but as you can see, I was a fashionista as well as a makeup lady. So for my final memory I'm going to share, it was the first time I ever brought my boyfriend home for Christmas, and this was in like 2004. He knows who he is, and I won't share his name, but I hope he sees this. So my family is kind of non-conventional. My grandma's not like this sweet little lady who bakes cookies and all of that. She is an old, worn out bar broad, and she cusses like a sailor. And she's like yelling at Christmas, and my aunt at the Christmas dinner table with my boyfriend starts talking about dildos and sex toys, and he was so embarrassed. He came from like a super conservative, like Catholic family, and it was just so funny driving home seeing his face, and he's just like, I cannot believe your family, like they're just open like that. So yeah, it was a little nuts. So that's the few Christmases that stand out in my mind. Some of them from when I was growing up in the hood, and then, you know, finally when I got out. But I would love for you to share a Christmas memory with me. Or it doesn't have to be a great memory. It can be just something that stands out. Maybe it's terrible. And I just hope that you have the merriest Christmas. I love Christmas so much, and it's just like a wonderful time of year. And I just really, really hope that you have a very blessed holiday, and check in next week because I have something really special planned for the weekend before New Year's. I have a video that I want to share to help you start the new year a little differently than the rest of the advice that typically goes on around this time of year and resolutions and all that nonsense. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have the merriest Christmas ever, and I will do another segment on Tales from the Hood. I'm not sure what it's going to be about, but I just thought Tales from the Hood, a SunnySlope Christmas would be an awesome thing to share. So enjoy the rest of your night. Have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you next week. Ciao.